Okay, are we ready to start? Nope. Hit start, Donald.
Show enough?
Three. Alright.
Not yet. There it is.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report for Thursday, November 12th, 2015. My lower third's not working like the other lads, so this is what I'm doing. That says my name, that's Alex Kalafi, I'm the host today, and then that's my Twitter, @Kalafi. You'll hear more about that at the end of the show. I'm also joined this week by Donald Terrio, who is our news editor, who did a kick-ass job today. Hello, Donald.
Hello. I'm amazed I only managed to burn through like 10% of my data plan running the show via my phone's tethered internet.
So the way you did it was you pretty much, well, let's say we had some birds, we accidentally stumbled into some stuff beforehand that made it easier, and then you were able to do God's work exclusively from an iPhone?
Well, I had my laptop with me, but I used my phone basically as a modem, just long enough to start the show. Like once the direct kicked off, I had my work laptop running the direct, and I ran everything else via Skype and the website.
Okay, cool. The other person joining us this week, special guest / member of the show, Scott Thompson. Hi, Scott.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank you, Macklemore, for having me on the show tonight. And B, Alex, you committed the cardinal sin of holding up a white piece of paper on the internet. So I hope everyone will take screenshots of that and just Photoshop in terrible, terrible things on that white paper. If you guys could do that for me and just tweet them out, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
At best, it's going to be like 8 penises, right?
I believe our audience can hit double-digit penises, no problem. I believe in them.
Is that the Nintendo News Report 50 challenge? This is the 50th episode of the show. Let's see if we can get 50 penises photoshopped onto that piece of paper by the end of tonight.
Well, get to work.
Okay. By the way, yeah, this is the 50th episode of Nintendo News Report, except there was a Nintendo Direct this week, so episode 51 next week is going to be what we have planned for episode 50. We have some good stuff. It's going to be a good show. But this week we have different stuff, because, hey, that big Nintendo Direct happened this week. Some people liked it. I didn't. Scott, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean, there's definitely some stuff I wasn't interested in, but it was jam-packed. I mean, I was impressed. Oh, I didn't mute my phone. I should do that. Yeah, I thought it was good though. I mean, there hadn't been one in a long time, and I think we've got this perception that there's like nothing coming out on 3DS and Wii U this holiday season. But this Direct was kind of a nice reminder of like everything that is coming, and then there were some surprises. So overall, yeah, I was impressed by it. It was a good Direct, I would say.
Sure. And you're definitely right about the fact that this was definitely a more dense Nintendo Direct. And now it may just be because we've went so many months without one.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, though, that yes, it was dense, but there really wasn't anything for me. Like, it felt like all of the announcements, like, skated over my head. Like, Cloud, not for me. Pokemon on Virtual Console, for me, but we'll be getting into that in a little while. I feel like they should have went for... We'll talk about that in a bit. I guess it just wasn't an Alex Nintendo Direct. If I can be, like, more fair to it, yes, there was plenty, and it's probably the best one we've had since the beginning of the year. Best one of 2015, probably including E3, but still just not an Alex Nintendo Direct. How about you, Donald? Where did you come off on it?
As somebody who had access to people DMing him all day with spoilers, both imagined and, as it turns out, real, I kind of had a feeling that some crazy stuff was going to go down. There was a point where I basically went from doing yes to wait, what? Inside of 5 minutes. But basically it came down to there's something I had been waiting for several years now that finally got paid off in this Direct, the Dragon Quest announcements. So that took it from show of the year to all-timer point.
Okay, so the last Nintendo Direct in its current format, you would say they might have ended on a strong note, because that's what they're saying. Based on your news story, Kimishima said pretty much that, like, if Nintendo Direct still exists next year, it's going to be in a pretty different form.
Well, I have to update one of our news stories actually when we're done here because we know that the last Smash Brothers Direct is next month, but
Yes.
we don't know what's going to happen after that with Nintendo Direct in general. As I said on the website a week or so ago, it's probably going to be more game focused, and we might get one of these big ones a quarter or something like that.
Okay, sure. Well, let's get right into the news then. So let's start, like, pretty much from the top down in descending order of importance, or at the very least, we'll talk about the most important two stories first. I want to talk about the end of this Nintendo Direct. We all knew there was going to be some Smash Bros. Character coming. Sakurai did, like, his little cute tease. There were some significant rumors of the Inklings coming to Smash for the last month and a half, and I'm still guessing that that's what's going to be in next month's Direct. But my experience with this announcement was very weird, because I was expecting, like, okay, it's going to be Inklings, this is going to be great, they've probably been working on this since May, whatever. I hear this music that doesn't sound like Splatoon, and I'm like, oh wow, they're using this really important music. This must be a really big Splatoon update for Smash. And then I'm like, Smash Bros. X, still using that insanely, like, JRPG music. Wow, are there going to be multiple? Will there be Octolings? And then it said Final Fantasy, and I was not happy. First off, remember that amazing N64 game, Final Fantasy VII? Remember that classic Nintendo character, Cloud Strife? Who is this for? I mean, it's for people who love Final Fantasy, but from a Nintendo context being put in a Nintendo game, this makes no sense right now. It makes sense on a marketing level to, like, weeaboos and, like, some Japanese, like, video game fans, but on a Nintendo level, Cloud doesn't fit in.
It may not fit now, but remember back to E3 when they announced the FF7 remake and they said it was coming first to PlayStation 4? I have the feeling there's going to be a quid pro quo with that in a couple years when this remake inevitably comes out, probably 2020, in which it comes first to PS4 but second to Nintendo's next console.
Okay. Well, plus too, I mean, don't forget, like, Final Fantasy, what is it, Explorers? Is that the 3DS game?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some cross-promotion there. We saw that Cloud is in the game, as is, like, all these other famous Final Fantasy characters. So, I mean, there's definitely cross-promotion there. You know, maybe they'll even do something where if you buy Explorers, you get Cloud for free or something in the game. You know, I don't know. But there's an opportunity there. So it's not completely, you know, this, like, secluded inclusion of Cloud with, like, no link to any other, like, Nintendo game, or game on a Nintendo system, I should say. But plus, too, I mean, you had Snake in Super Smash Brothers, and I mean, yes, there was the remake of Metal Gear Solid on GameCube, but I mean, really,
There wasn't
that's
even
like as much of a link as this.
a Final Fantasy VII on GameCube. I'm not saying there has to be, and in fact, I have a sneaking suspicion there's going to be a Final Fantasy VII, something like maybe even that PC port coming to Wii U like early next year when this thing probably comes out too. I mean, I guess I'm just bitter. When it comes down to it, I'm really, like, as someone who's not a Final Fantasy VII fan, who thought the Inklings were, like, such a perfect fit and were so ready for this announcement, and then also, like, I mean, granted, this might be a Konami thing, too, why Snake's not in the game, but the fact that just no Solid Snake this time either, and I don't know, it's just, it's so not an Alex announcement, and it still makes no sense to me.
Plus, I mean, remember too, like the Final Fantasy, like Theater Rhythm games. So Cloud was in those. Those were 3DS games.
And Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the GBA. So he's probably got more history on Nintendo consoles than Snake does, honestly.
Snake for sure, yeah.
All those famous mainline Final Fantasy games like Theater Rhythm Curtain Call.
Hey, Theater Rhythm Curtain Call is the most enjoyable Final Fantasy experience I've had in several years. So.
Curtain Call's great because it has the DLC, so you can just play all the Chrono Trigger music and never listen to any Final Fantasy music. So it's perfect.
It also has Mystic Quest.
It does. It has a lot of bizarre stuff.
Yeah, but as the resident RPG guy around here, hell, I've got Xenoblade Chronicles X coming to me soon. I'm happy this announcement is coming because I need somebody else to beat up besides Villager. Just like that Penny Arcade comic where they're beating the crap out of Tidus and Dissidia, that'll be me in Smash Brothers with practically anybody.
But yeah, no, I think the inclusion of Cloud, as much as maybe I'm arguing that you can link it to this upcoming 3DS game, really it's just fan service, and it's just a way, like you kind of mentioned, Alex, to market the game to maybe people who yet still haven't bought it. Like I think that's like why Ryu was included, and now I think that's why you have Cloud. I mean, it's just to kind of force whatever audience still hasn't bought Smash Brothers into finally buying the game.
And Cloud wasn't in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale as far as I know, which you think would be the perfect spot for him. So I really think Square was holding out to try to get him in Smash.
But new Dante and Big Daddy from BioShock Infinite now okay. I might not like Cloud Strife, but PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is worse. It's still not as bad as the character announcements for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This is still one step above that.
Oh, that's good.
At least Nintendo didn't announce new Dante for Super Smash Bros. For 3DS.
I will say, though, I mean, as much as this announcement wasn't for you, wasn't it at least cool to have this come out with no one knowing about it? And, like, this seems like such a far-fetched thing that if earlier today I had seen, like a supposed leak, I'd have said, that's just fucking crazy. That's, like, the lamest fake leak I've ever seen in my entire life. And then it was true.
Yes.
I believe my comment when I saw this one, because this is one of the things that I did get spoiled on me, I believe my exact Twitter comment was screaming internally. Like, are you kidding me? What is going on here that we're getting Cloud in Final Fantasy, in Smash Brothers? Of course, I also might have threatened to break Sakurai's arm if Lightning showed up, which actually could still happen depending on how they do the alternate costumes.
Yeah.
No, it's true. But I mean, Cloud in general though is kind of sucks. I think Final Fantasy VII isn't a great game, but I think it's cool they went out and did it. And more importantly, now we get Final Fantasy music in Smash Brothers, which is awesome. And I'm just gonna set like all the music down to the lowest I can to just get Final Fantasy music, at least for a little bit.
On the other hand, I'm trying to think what realistic characters they could still get left for Super Smash Bros. I'm guessing Konami characters are out. I mean, Simon Belmont would be great, but realistically, that's not going to happen. Snake's not going to happen. I'm going to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt here and suggest that maybe they had nowhere better to go.
I don't think it's a bad choice. I mean, I really don't. I think this is actually really out there. I mean, to me, Cloud is very much connected to Sony, like you said. It doesn't feel like a Nintendo character. Yeah. And yet they were able to get him in Smash Brothers. Like, I don't think that's like a last ditch, well, we settled on Cloud. I mean, I think they really went out there and worked with Square to like get this like probably the most well-known Final Fantasy character of all time in their fighting game. Like, that's fantastic. Something Sony couldn't do for its own fighting game, like we mentioned. Yeah. That's not like just digging at the bottom of the pile. I mean, that's a big accomplishment, I think.
No.
Well, if Smash Brothers is meant to be a history of Nintendo, the damage that Final Fantasy VII did to Nintendo in that N64 GameCube generation, it's worth having him in there only because they can make him the final boss of the game.
Yeah, it's very symbolic to have Cloud just beating the shit out of Mario.
Okay. The other Smash news, there will be a video presentation that'll be released in December that'll share more updates about the hit fighting games. The fact that there's a special thing here makes me think now we will find out more about what won the ballot when this thing comes out in December. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think if there's going to be another character announced, it probably will be Inklings, because it seems like they're treating these games as if there won't be a Smash Bros. 5, even though there probably will be.
Yeah, there will be, and if the Inklings don't show up in this December video, it's because they're being saved for Smash 5. But I still have reason to believe that Shovel Knight's going to be in the game, and one or two people from the poll and Cloud, and as they said in the Japanese video, this is it for Smash Brothers. They're done with it after this December video.
They literally said that?
Yes.
Cool. All right, I'm very excited then. So we're definitely finding out about the ballot results in December.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to the other big story, or at least a big story to me. By the way, I owe you guys a big "you're welcome." After my interview with Pokemon marketing director, I forget his name right now. It's just been a long day.
JC.
Yep, J.C. Smith, right? Is it Smith? I mean, I got the flower story from him. I should definitely know this. But after my interview with J.C. Smith, asking him directly about the original Pokemon games coming on Virtual Console, lo and behold, not 3 months later, Nintendo got off their ass and said, you know what, Alex is right. We're on first name basis. Alex is right. We need to put the Pokemon games on Virtual Console. He's also right that we have an anniversary coming up. We didn't think of that. And February 27th, 2016, was the day the original games first released in Japan. Let's put it on Virtual Console, and let's solve the issue of no link cable by adding a non-link cable wireless support. So you're welcome. We've been working on this announcement for a long time. I'm so excited we're finally able to share it with you. I think this is good. This also reveals that they had no other major games ready for this time in 2016. The Virtual Console, like Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, all coming out on the same day. No word on price, but they could charge $10 for these things if they want, and I'm buying all three. I kind of wish they were 3D releases, but I guess I can't complain. It's finally happening. Donald, what's up?
Aside from, I need to figure out now if I need to keep that counter running in the downloads articles for how long it's been since there's been a 3DS Virtual Console game, because we literally have not had one since February until next February.
So you're not just celebrating the Pokemon anniversary.
Two anniversaries.
Yeah.
The Virtual Console anniversary.
Yeah,
the anniversary of the 3DS Virtual Console drought.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to classify these, because I know that that Red and Blue were Game Boy games. But I seem to recall that Yellow was Game Boy Color enhanced.
Yeah, that's why, like, in the Nintendo Direct, that one was like in partial color. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're going to treat that as a Game Boy Color game, which means they could go up to like $7 for it, as opposed to the GB games, which will probably top out at $5 if we're lucky.
Well, I think Alex is right. I think you could almost charge a premium for these and probably get away with it.
You know, we added this whole link cable thing. No other ones have the link cable support. And hey, if you buy all three, you can get them for $16.99, and it won't be $15. They're going to be a little greedy and charge like that extra $2. But that's the way I see this going. They're going to charge a relatively decent premium on these because they're adding one or two features, it looks like. And hey, it's the anniversary. Also, you can buy Red and Blue together, or you can buy all three together for this okay discount. That's the way I see this going. But you know what? Even though I already am ready for this, I'm still going to buy them all because that's like my first, like, these were the first games that, like, made me love games. So what am I going to do? Not pay for them?
Well, you don't get them for free, considering you came up with the idea for this?
No, I got to pay the $16.99 just like everyone else.
Well, Zach, I'll put in a word with Neil and Brian to make sure you get the review codes for those, because
okay. Zach's on the show this week.
No, I'm honestly thinking I'll probably end up buying these because my current roommate wants to play Red Through again, but I cannot go back to old Pokemon games. Like, I can't even go back to Gen 5, and I still want to play a modified version of Black 2, White 2 at some point, finish that off. But I'm so used to the quality of life improvements they brought in over 20 years that I just cannot play old Pokemon games. I don't know why. So I'm probably going to end up treating this like Earthbound Beginnings, where sure, I buy it because it's historically significant, but I don't end up playing it.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think we're going to buy these like based out of nostalgia. I mean, no real Pokemon game has ever connected with me the way the first ones did. I mean, like, I love first 150 Pokemon. I mean, I love those Gen 1 games. Those were the best. I don't know that I've ever finished another Pokemon game apart from Red, Blue, and Yellow. but I know going back to them after all the like great changes and just like evolutions that have come throughout the generations, like it's going to be very hard to go back and play those, I think. And yeah, I'm with you, Donald. Like I feel like I'll play like a half hour of them, like okay, like this is nice, but I don't need to play these again.
So I say this on probably every single Pokemon-related podcast I've ever been on, but the Pokemon generations are very interesting, and that there are trade-offs with every single generation. The thing about Gen 1 is that it's hard to go back to because they have sped up the combat and the movement so much since Generation 1, and that they have boosted and improved the mechanics so much since Generation 1. However, what Generation 1 has, and Generation 2 has, and I would say even Generation 3 has, that the later generations don't have, is this weird, super charming, stitched together duct tape, like personality to it, where it's clear that they worked really fucking hard making an extremely ambitious game, and there are so many glitches and so many unfinished areas and so many things they wanted to do but couldn't, that it feels like you're playing a game with a real heart inside of it that you really don't get in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha. No, those games are clunky for their own reasons. But the new games feel like they're so aggressively polished mechanically, visually, and difficulty-wise that the heart's almost not there anymore. So there is something to say about the original games that I say makes it worth playing again. By the way, the first two generations have the best music in the whole series, probably. My favorite song comes from Ruby and Sapphire, but going back, the best music in the series, and I think the most charming sprites and visual design, comes from those early games. So, I mean, I'll report back on some podcast when I do go back to play these. I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to force myself to go back, though.
I just wonder if I'm going to trigger the error message that actually exists in Pokemon Red that says file data is destroyed.
Well, that is curious. Like, I wonder if all the glitches and exploits will be there.
Yes. They're gonna put it up exactly as it was, which is the right way to do it. The thing is, the reason those glitches exist are for some like real. It seems like the reason those glitches exist goes into the membrane of that very game's existence. Like you would have to change severe things for those glitches to disappear, or at least I'm under that impression. Yeah, the glitch. There are some crazy glitches in Pokemon, but that's beside the point.
I just hope there's like a Game Shark emulator included with this, so you can get Mew.
You can get Mew without a Game Shark emulator.
Yeah, there is one of those glitches that they're going to be keeping lets you get Mew. So it's
just
a very
easier with Game Shark.
Yeah, the only reason I'd want a Game Shark at this point is just so I can boost the stats to maximum and not have to go through the effort of killing 300,000 Pidgeys to do it.
So yes, my conclusions of the Direct so far: fuck this crazy new third-party character, and oh boy, new ROMs I can pay money for. So let's move on to the rest of this Direct. We're gonna go quicker through these announcements. Well, some of them will have stuff to talk about. Legends of Zelda: Twilight Princess HD is one of those games. There is an HD remake of this game coming out in March 4th next year. There is a Wolf Link and Midna amiibo coming out that will be bundled with the game. Will also be compatible with 5 other Legend of Zelda amiibo from Smash. The soundtrack will also be available as a bonus for those who pre-order the game from select retailers. There is some criticism of the game's visuals so far, though I feel it is far too early to know how good the visuals actually are, just because we've seen them on a stream and we've seen them on YouTube videos, and you don't really know how a Nintendo game looks until you see it on your TV.
Well, I'm sure it'll look great, 60 frames per second, like when you see it really moving. But I do agree with some of the criticism. I mean, just even like the geometry and stuff seems really simple. I mean, it's clean. Like, I mean, there's no jaggies. Like the anti-aliasing is like off the charts, and that's great. But it still just does look really simple. Which, I mean, it's a GameCube game. Like, I get it. It's not going to clean up the way that Wind Waker did, because Wind Waker was just so visually appealing to begin with. But that said, I don't know that I'm really all that excited for this. I think this is one I will probably pass on. What do we think Amiibo support even does?
Nothing.
it gives you full rupees. Now, if one of the amiibo supports lets you skip part of the first part of the game, I am down for that, and I will day one this thing. But I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen with the with what's going to carry over to Zelda Wii U. I'm probably getting this because it's the main first-party Wii U game of the first quarter of next year, which I double-checked. I don't think there's anything else coming up from them unless we get a shock SMT Cross Fire Emblem.
Other than Star Fox, unless you count that as the following quarter.
Yeah, that's an April Q2 game. But I'm curious as to what's going to happen. Honestly, it'll be nice to just have a Zelda game on Wii U that's a Zelda game and doesn't make me seasick.
Twilight Princess is good, and it has some great moments. To me, what I'll always remember was two things. There's the snowboarding, and that whole temple, like the cabin, if you will. Like that's a really great temple. And then the shootout when you go into that like western town and it's filled with the goblins and like it's kind of like a western shootout. Like that's a really great moment in that game. But I don't know that I'm ready to really dive back into Twilight Princess.
It's something I thought about upon seeing this trailer that didn't really hit me until now is that this is the fourth remake of Zelda we've had since 2011, since mid-2011. And if you count Link Between Worlds, that's not a remake, that's a sequel, but that's like not that far from. I mean, it started its development as a remake, so I might even say like 4.25 Zelda remakes in like the last five or so years. Which I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I mean, they gotta fund the Zelda development somehow, maybe. But it seems like too much. It just seems like a little too much. And then this seems like the worst one. I mean, there's no other 3D ones left, I guess. But this does not seem like the right game to remake. Because it's going for the visual art style and the realistic art style that was made clearly on technology that couldn't handle realism in the same way it could now. So the style is naturally not going to transfer across generations. So they should have just put it on the eShop. Because it almost seems like, I mean, they're going to do it for money, but it almost seems like a waste of time otherwise.
Yeah, I almost would have rather seen like a Skyward Sword HD remake.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been really great because I love the look of that game, and that's another one like Wind Waker that I think really would have like flourished with a little HD polish. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they couldn't just put it on the eShop. I mean, they want to make money. They want to bundle it with the exclusive amiibo. I mean, it makes sense. But this has to have been one of the most played Zelda games out of any of the recent ones, right? I mean, It was a launch title for Wii, which was insanely popular. So I'm sure a lot of people played it.
I believe to date it is if it's not the best-selling Zelda game, it's up there on the list. And certainly,
I mean, all I could think that would rival it would be like Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past. Like it's got to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Zelda Wii U, they showed Link and a horse and like a camera spinning around it. That's our update for the year. Next.
No, well, you never know. We do have the Game Awards in a couple weeks.
And there might be amiibo support. That's the other update for the year.
Well, they seem to confirm that there will be amiibo support, but let's face it, every Nintendo game at this point has amiibo support.
And a lot of third-party games have amiibo support.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they showed us a horse spinning around Link. Still not completely convinced that that's just a boy Link, especially since there's this. I don't know. That's not even a conversation for today. But they also revealed that certain save data from Twilight Princess HD on the Wolf Link amiibo can be carried over to this new game. Donald already mentioned the one thing any of us could have to say. I wonder what they're going to do. And that's literally the most anyone can say on this right now, just because there was so little. They said specifically 2016 again.
And Wii U.
And Wii U again. Mm-hmm. So this game, even if it comes out on Nintendo Next, it will be coming out in 2016 probably, but it will definitely be coming out on Wii U. So we at least have reconfirmation of that.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say this one last time.
Yeah.
You're looking. Don't look to Twilight Princess as the example for Zelda Wii U to Zelda NX. Look at The Last of Us.
For
So like released and then like a year and a half later they'll do like a souped up version for the next console.
Right.
Yeah. One more thing that very very small tangent, but I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and if you want, I mean, no, this is more related than you think, Scott. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, and in the whole thing they're talking about like playing Zelda from any angle, doing whatever you want in this open world, suited for a genre that's not normally suited for it. Metal Gear Solid 5 is giving me a lot of those feelings. The idea of it being a stealth game and that it's an open world in a stealth game and you're trying to approach things from any situation. If you want to get like a little interested in Zelda Wii U conceptually and you have access to it, Metal Gear Solid 5 might get you thinking. It might get the old gears turning. That's all.
That's like, I feel like that's the flimsiest excuse you've ever had to bring up a game that you like that is not a Nintendo platform.
Is that the worst one yet, Scott? It might be top 3.
You definitely had like better connections when you would bring up Grand Theft Auto 5. That one.
Grand Theft Auto 4. You should see the mental gymnastics I do for that one. I can connect Grand Theft Auto 4 to this one.
I do kind of like that, which we're getting ahead here, but when they were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X or whatever, that they were like, if you're a fan of Zelda or Metroid, you might like this. Try it.
Yeah, okay, big guy. What were we talking about? Xenoblade? Actually, no. We'll talk about Xenoblade next week because Donald's been playing it, and then we'll offer more commentary on that. It's interesting that they're doing the download thing where, like, if you buy a disc version, you should download up to 10 gigs of extra data, almost like a Gran Turismo 5 situation. That was announced for Japan, right? Well, that happened in Japan, right?
That did happen in Japan, and they actually sent me the download codes for that on Tuesday. So I have that downloaded, even though I don't have my disc yet.
That's crazy.
That's pretty funny. Okay. Cool. Pokken Tournament. They announced for that one. They re-revealed Shadow Mewtwo. They showed his true, like, Mega Evolution form for the first official North American time. It seems like Shadow Mewtwo is this, like, side form of Mewtwo, and then there's, like, it can Mega Evolve. They clearly showed the Mega Evolution symbol, and it seems like that's going to be Shadow Mewtwo, like Mega Shadow Mewtwo X is the impression I'm getting from that. Like, that seems like it's Mega Mewtwo X, but for the Shadow Mewtwo, which is interesting. I wonder if they're going to do Mega Mewtwo Y. The more interesting thing, it's going to be $59.99. It is still coming out spring 2016, and there are going to be amiibo card supports. You can get a Shadow Mewtwo amiibo card that immediately unlocks the character in the game. Sounds like it would otherwise be an unlockable character, so it's just giving you a quick unlock. $59.99. I hope there's enough content.
Well, even if it doesn't launch with enough content, it's probably going to end up with enough content.
Sure. It's so one thing, the reason why I'm saying that specifically about this and not for any other fighting game, because I understand fighting games are different, is that from when I played the initial arcade version of Pokken Tournament at the World Championships earlier this year, it's not a very expansive game. I mean, it is an arcade game, so like what can you expect? But there's like 8 stages and like 10 to 12 characters and 10 to 12 or maybe even less than that assist characters. It's very on the small side. If they ported the game as is to the Wii U, that might be $15, $19.99 at best. I'm wondering if they're going to be adding some side modes. They're going to be adding a story mode to see what that anime character is all about, and then Shadow Mewtwo, maybe they'll do a thing with that. I'm just wondering how you make that a $59.99 package, other than just taking the game, adding a couple characters, and then just slapping the price sticker on.
Well, they probably get away with charging $60 for it because it's a Pokemon game in 3D.
Oh, they get away with it, but I think they also need to justify it. I wonder what their attempt to justify it is going to be, because they won't just put it out as is at that price. There will be some attempt to justify it, and I'm very interested in what that is.
Yeah. Like maybe they'll keep adding in time lapse characters like you see in some fighting games because I mean they've established that they're willing to go more than 6 months with free updates like they were doing with Splatoon.
Sure. It has been 6 months, pretty much, right?
Yeah, and
5.5.
And they're going to keep it going through January.
Cool. So actually, no, we'll talk about Splatoon in a second, but we should talk about Star Fox Zero first. They got a new date for Star Fox Zero. That's April 22nd. They announced a couple new vehicles, but it's still mostly the same game. I wonder what they're using the new development time for. People are saying that it looks better than it did at E3, maybe?
A lot of the complaint at E3 was that it just did not look that impressive, but I thought this trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching it with Justin. He was saying it was looking way better than the E3, and they've added in things that should be in a Star Fox game but weren't at E3, like bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That game looks very Star Fox 64, I should note. Like, I mean, they were saying that at E3, but that game looks real Star Fox 64.
Oh, that's the idea.
yeah, I guess so. Because that was the good one. They're making a sequel to the good one.
Mm-hmm.
On to Splatoon, new update, 40 pieces of new gear coming out today at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Actually, that already came out. Some of you may have already tried some of it, including more winter items and some slick bandanas. November 13th, that is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Another new update adds a new stage called Museum D'Alfonso. D'Alfonsino. Yeah, no, okay, okay, what Donald said. Further stages and features will be added in future updates through January. There will be a Treehouse Splatoon tournament, which will be streamed, of course. Still no Octolings announced as DLC. That's also pretty interesting, right?
As they said, January is the end of the free updates. Maybe we're looking at a situation where the Octolings are a paid update.
They should be, shouldn't. That should be like $4.99. If I was the developers, that's what I would do. $4.99 for the Octoling update.
But a free unlock with the amiibo. With like challenge stages included, like 20 challenge stages again. Actually, I still have that Splatoon amiibo. Still haven't played those levels. Are they worth it? Yeah, they're worth it. If only for the sound test that you unlock once you beat all of the squid ones.
Man, I didn't get the 3-pack. I only got the boy. Oh well.
They started selling the squid separately, so you might have a shot.
Did that just happen?
It's out in Europe.
Okay, cool. Hyrule Warriors Legends. I think we're on the 3DS stuff. Hyrule Warriors Legend. Take the epic. Okay, they announced Linkle. That's like Girl Link, who they didn't really directly say was Girl Link, but is totally Girl Link. Looks kawaii as fuck. This is based on actual data, or like actual concept art, right?
Yeah, it came out about a year after the game did. That they had mocked up basically a female Link. I think it was meant to be a sister at that time, but they have gone and put that into the 3DS version. Given the timing of when this is coming out, March 25th.
Yep.
Dare I ask if this is going to be one of those first games that uses My Nintendo as a way of bringing some of this content to the Wii U version as well?
So we do know that all this content is going to be made available on the Wii U version, right?
We know the Wind Waker stuff is. They haven't said anything about if Linkle and the other new stuff that they're bringing in for this 3DS version is going to cross over, because let's face it, they have to give you a reason to buy the 3DS version, aside from the ability to play it portably.
Yes, and they would be foolish not to. They would be foolish not to add Girl Link to Hyrule Warriors Legends. Next up, yeah, go ahead.
Get everybody nice and used to it in case it happens in the Wii U Zelda.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think I said this once before, but I think what would be cool for them to do in Wii U Zelda is make Link so aggressively androgynous and make it so impossible to distinguish what gender Link is, and not even give a gender option, just make Link that insanely androgynous that it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. It can be whatever you want, and like give people the Zelda experience character-wise, like putting you in the role of this Link, except go even further. That would be a very interesting thing to do. It would be almost like insanely progressive in this weird Nintendo way too. And not even say it, just make the Zelda game that way in mind, that anyone can play this character and it can be anything, regardless of who you are. We'll see how it goes. Let's talk about Paper Jam. The Mario and Luigi series, that next game is coming out January 22nd, $39.99. Pretty soon, but not that soon considering it's coming out in a couple of weeks in everywhere else.
Well, I mean, Europe's not getting Yokai Watch until next year, so this is sort of their make good for it.
Yeah. Yep, we'll see how this is. Hopefully better than Dream Team. Maybe not, though. There will be some compatible amiibo. You can create a corresponding character card in the game, which has some effects during battle. Almost seems like a sticker star kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now the thing Donald, Scott, and I really care about. Fire Emblem Fates. That is coming out in February, as we all knew. Birthright is coming out, and Conquest is coming out for $39.99. If you own one, you can get the other for $19.99. And then there's going to be Fire Emblem Revelation, which is the third downloadable story version. And that is not confirmed for $19.99.
The third version, yeah, they didn't release a price for it, and it's coming out after the first two. So it's not going to be like a day one thing where you can go in and buy the third version straight away.
But if you buy the collector's edition, you get it whenever it comes out. It's included in that.
Right. So they also announced a what's it called? A collector's edition, as Scott said, that includes an art book, a 3DS XL pouch, and all three games for $79.99. Do we know what configuration the games will be in? Like, are you just getting one? Are you getting cartridge versions of both and a code? Are you getting like just Conquest or just Birthright?
I'm sure it's cartridge of both. That box looked giant. It's got to be like everything.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends on how big the art book is, because I know, but the Japanese alignment, for whatever it's worth, it was 2 cartridges and a code.
Okay, that'd be cool then. Because if I have to choose one version, I'm so going in on Conquest. But now that this thing's $79.99, Best Buy Gamer Club unlocked. I'm guessing these pre-orders won't sell out that horribly, at least yet. That'll get me $63 on all three of these games. Like, that's the way I want to do it.
That is sick, and I believe it is available online right now.
It is, yes. It was like literally right after the Direct. I actually tried ordering it, but like my credit card doesn't expire until like June next year. But it said like you're not allowed to purchase something if it's within 15 days of a card. It was a whole weird thing. I haven't bought it yet. I might try to pre-order it physically. Either way, this is probably my favorite announcement from this Direct. Mm-hmm. The Pokemon stuff was crazy, but like I'm excited for this, and now that I know it's coming out soon, like this makes me real, real happy.
Yeah, I'm with you. It kind of makes me wonder how much Revelation will be, because so $40 for one game, $20 for another, so there's $60. This collector's edition is $80, so I would hope. So it makes me wonder: is Revelation going to be more than $20? Or are you really? I mean, I thought there'd be some kind of savings if you bought the bundle.
No, you're paying.
Maybe they argue that you're just getting the art book and stuff. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 40, and then the equivalent of 15 and 15 in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever Revelations cost is probably going to be the same as whatever other version you buy as DLC. And Alex, if you want to go splits on this one, I'm looking to get Birthright, so we could probably make it work that way.
We'll talk, Don.
Okay.
Let's see what's up. Okay. Triforce Heroes DLC. Should we just skip that?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not matching in voice chat, so screw it.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's Line. Is it? I was excited about Linebex. Lineback's uniform from Phantom Hourglass. That's funny to me. But that's all. I'm still never gonna play this game in my life, but I still like appreciated that uniform. Like that was a cool ad. They're also adding the Fierce Deity armor. I'm sure it's a fine game. Not an Alex thing. Nintendo Badge Arcade now available on the eShop for 3DS. It's a free to start game. You can get badges to decorate the bottom screen of your Nintendo 3DS themes. It seems okay. I haven't played it yet. Have either of you touched it?
No, I'm actively avoiding it.
Cool. And you, Scott?
No, I have not.
Here's
not
the
really
thing.
interested.
It costs $1 for 5 plays. That is up to 5 badges. Even if you say for $2 or $3 I can get 10 or 15 badges or whatever. Maybe if I happen to win them, probably more like 7 badges because you're gonna miss on half of them. You could buy a theme for that much that already looks good, probably. It seems, this whole thing seems a little silly, except it's not silly, because Nintendo knows what they're doing, and Nintendo's going to make a whole lot of money, just because this cloud thing, they're going to make a whole lot of money with this thing, too. There's a reason why I am not Reggie Fils-Aimé. There's a reason why I do not have his job right now. I'm sure Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing. I'm just grumpy.
I think it's for certain people, and I think there are sort of obsessive compulsive people who will get really into it. I assume Donald, that's why you're not downloading it, because if you start, you won't be able to stop yourself.
Yeah, I'm treating this the same way that I meant to treat Pokemon Shuffle.
I mean, really, this is almost like legit gambling. I mean, you're putting money in with the hopes that you'll get something. You don't even know that you will. There's maybe this one badge you really want, and there's no guarantee you'll get it. I mean, it's kind of crazy, I think.
Oh, I just put that together. I just realized I put this thing in. I see Boy Inkling, and I see a Pikachu. Could I see myself dropping $7 for 8 pixels? I'm not gonna say no. So I haven't thought this through until what you just said. You're right. I should just never download this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dangerous.
Speaking of free to start, the popular Italics Picross series has crossed over with Pokemon. So this is seemingly part of the Nintendo Picross franchise. There's Pokemon Picross coming to the eShop in early December. It seems like one of the 2D Picross games. It's not like Picross 3D, but Pokemon. It's a regular Picross game. The twist is that you can catch Pokemon that you do the Picross puzzles for, and those can have effects on the actual Picross puzzles. So maybe you can solve them faster. That seems okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope too that there's a way to sort of maybe turn that off. Maybe you could just have not to bring any Pokemon with you, because I think there's purists who won't want any of that. But yeah, I mean, it's a neat inclusion and sort of incorporates the theme of Pokemon a little bit more.
Yeah. My favorite feature of this is that they've adopted the Pokemon Rumble World strategy, where if you do spend a certain amount of money, they will turn off the free-to-play elements.
So so it just becomes a regular game?
Right. Now in Rumble World it was 30. When Joe Merrick at Cerebi was reporting it, he said it was equivalent of, I think it was 5,000 yen was the maximum. So it's a little bit more, but it's still nice to have that upper limit, especially considering how much money you can plow into something like, say, Pokemon Shuffle.
Sure, and I'm sure that if they didn't have something like this, plenty of Pokemon fans would spend far more than $50. This game has Neil written all over it. He's going to play the hell out of this game, and in about 3 weeks, he's probably going to put it at number 5 in his Game of the Year.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that this was, they emphasized that this was a 3DS exclusive. This to me seems like another fit for, mobile platforms.
There have been 3 free-to-start Pokemon games this year, haven't there?
Yeah. Shuffle, Rumble World, and now this in Pokemon Picross.
That's literally Neil's top 3. Actually, no, I don't know if Rumble Blast is up there, but still, that's crazy! Mm-hmm. 3 Pokemon free, and then if they do something with the Pokédex, and then if they ever bring back that other Pokemon Dreamcatcher minigame.
Dream Radar.
Dream Radar. If they ever bring that one back, they could do a free-to-play thing with that too. This thing must be doing real well for them. In fact, I'm sure it must be because they just moved Shuffle to mobile.
Well, and then we had that news story that like all 5 of whatever the Nintendo's mobile games are all going to be free to play or free to start.
That was a mistranslation. I mean, Nintendo said in their own shareholder meeting that they were doing 1 free to start and then the rest were going to be free.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, we got one more 3DS announcement for right. Actually, no, we have some other third-party stuff, but one other one that matters. Donald, I'm just going to hand this news story over to you.
After 4 years and 8 games that never came to the West, Dragon Quest VII and Dragon Quest VIII are both coming to 3DS in North America and Europe next year. Woo! About leaping time.
Yes. I'm trying to find the clapping on this thing. I don't know if I can. Donald, you might have access to that, don't you? Actually, no, hold on.
Yeah. I mean, this first got teased in July when Yuji Horii, who had a really bad month for running his mouth about things he shouldn't have been running his mouth about, basically said that yes, these were coming, but to finally have confirmation, like we've got release time frames. Dragon Quest VII will be out in the summer, which good. That's a very good summer game, and then 8 out later in the year, and just to finally have this series get some respect with all the releases that it's been getting in Japan. It's way overdue. Like Dragon Quest VII came out 3 years ago by the time it comes out, but finally. And we finally get a version of Dragon Quest VII translated and balanced by people who are not completely insane.
Both in 2016 too.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, that. I should probably go bump that article I did about 2016 being the year of the 3DS RPG. Now that most of them seem to be confirmed.
If we're gonna get cynical here and we're gonna get super slimy, what are the odds that Nintendo and Square Enix started talking shop? And then I'm not saying deals were made, but at some point some hands changed hands. And Cloud ended up in Smash Bros. And both Dragon Quest games ended up out here in 2016.
I hope you title this episode "Go Back and change it to Hands Changed Hands" because that's my favorite thing you've ever said.
Well, you have to figure that Square wants to make sure that they're in good with Nintendo for whatever the NX is. So, sort of restarting this relationship in such dramatic fashion, where these Dragon Quest games are coming. Theoretically building to 11 coming out here, whether that's on 3DS or the NX Portable when that version comes out. And I don't know how deep this rabbit hole is going to go. Maybe Heroes comes out on Wii U as well, or maybe because it's coming out in Steam apparently, or maybe we start getting some of Project Setsuna or whatever that ended up becoming at TGS. But this looks like the start of a long and beautiful friendship, and to everybody within the sound of my voice, if you don't buy Dragon Quest 7 and 8, I'm probably going to hurt you.
Well, if we're talking things like Dragon Quest Heroes coming out on Wii U and Dragon Quest 11 coming out on NX in North America, I'm thinking maybe it might be time for the iconic slime to come to Smash Bros. As well. And at a certain point, this just seems unrealistic. To me, this doesn't say Dragon Quest 11 is coming to North America. This is Dragon Quest 7 and Dragon Quest 8 are coming to North America, and then the rest we'll see based on how many people Donald has to hurt. Me being one of them twice.
Well, apparently nobody bought Dragon Quest Heroes on PS4, so maybe Square realizes, okay, if we want this series to get any traction in the West, we probably need to get away from Sony for it.
Well, I don't think that's the case because they've probably been localizing this for the past 6 to actually probably in the span of years, not months. Certainly, if it's an RPG or RPGs like this, Dragon Quest Heroes, I wouldn't be surprised if that localization began and ended in 2015.
That's possible. This one tends to be more, from what I've heard of Heroes. Obviously, I don't have a PS4, so I can't test it for myself, but I'll probably buy it on Steam. It seems to be more story heavy than your average Muso, but not as much as a Dragon Quest game would be.
Sure. Okay, couple more things. Let's just knock out this other 3DS thing. Mega Man Legacy Collection's coming out February 23rd on 3DS, and it includes faithful reproductions of the first 6 NES games. It's Mega Man Legacy Collection, but it's on 3DS. There will be a golden-colored Mega Man amiibo figure that seems like it's part of the Smash Bros. Set, just happens to be painted gold, and it is launching as part of the Mega Man Legacy Collection Collector's Edition. The Mega Man Legacy Collection Collector's Edition.
Which is actually good because they said that like 11 extra challenges or something are going to be tied to the Mega Man amiibo. So this will help you get it if you missed it on the Mega Man amiibo originally.
Yeah, although the way Nintendo's restocking Amiibo right now, you'll probably find that again in February when this comes out. So I'll probably end up getting this one on the eShop because I don't need a golden Mega Man Amiibo. I have mine already.
Yeah, if anything, I wish they would have just done like a cool alternate colored Mega Man, like when he's got one of the Master Robot's powers or something. That would have been cool. Gold, it doesn't really do anything for me.
No. The other 3DS thing of note, we're going to end on Amiibo, I guess. Final Fantasy Explorers, was that previously announced, or is that a new announcement?
It's been out in Japan, hasn't it?
No, I mean for North America.
It was announced back in July, popular month for those sort of things,
Yeah.
but the collector's edition is new.
Okay. Is that the... Because, no, I'm looking at the press release right now, and it doesn't say anything about the collector's edition. Probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, it might as well not exist because it's on Square Enix's online store only, no doubt. If it shows up.
That's no good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Final Fantasy Explorers. There's your cloud game, I guess. Final thing. We're getting a new wave of Amiibo, showing that Nintendo's Steam of Amiibo is at least slowing down for now. January 22nd sees the next wave, Lucas and Smash Bros., and then figures of Rossetti, Blathers, Celeste, and Kix from Animal Crossing. And we also got the Series 2 of the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. I wonder when the next major Amiibo series are going to come out. Probably with Star Fox, right?
You would think. I mean, that's a reasonable explanation for why it's coming out in April, because they want to ramp up production on a Star Fox line. Because they can sell not just characters, but they can sell vehicles as well. And they did not talk about Amiibo support at all in this direct.
Yes, and I'm also looking at that 100 character list of Mario Maker sprites you can use in the Mario 1. And I have a feeling they didn't make those because look at all these cool Nintendo characters they could make. We could put in this game. I'm thinking they put all these characters in just to cover their asses in case and when they want to do Amiibo for some of these guys. Including, I would even put Big Brain Academy. They covered all of their bases, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense. All I know is I got to get up at 6:30 tomorrow to go get a Mewtwo, and I'm gonna have and I hope to have to get up at 6:30 in the morning on January 22nd to go get my Lucas.
I'll get a Mewtwo in 4 months when they reprint it, and then I can just wander into a Toys R Us and get it because that's how I got most of my Amiibos lately. Tomorrow sees the release of Mewtwo, which I am excited for, and then it also sees the release of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which we're going to hear about next week, assuming we get Neil on the show, and the various Amiibo for that. KK Slider, once again, is in a $34.99 pack, so I am not going to be owning KK Slider right now.
I guess that's what Play is for, I think.
Yeah. I need to get up 4:15 for work. Let's end this guy. Nintendo Direct, there you go. Maybe the final one in its current form. It was good for most of you. Maybe there will be like 7 down votes on this thing by the time I actually look at the final. How many people are watching, Don?
We're in the 30s. We're hovering around 29, 30 right now.
So I'm glad you all agree with me. Thank you very much for watching. Donald can be found on Twitter at DonaldMick. Scott can be found on Twitter at OKSoda. Once again, I can be found on Twitter at CULAFIA. This week, what we did was, instead of me physically hosting the stream, Donald was the one whose computer hosted the stream. No drops this week. My connection is golden. This is how we might do the show from now on. So as long as the connection is good, next week, Nintendo News Report 50. Catch it live on Thursday at some time, probably 9:30 at night Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific. You're going to be able to see it with no problem.